Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is General Hospital. Today is May the 6th, 2022, Monday. And let's get right into it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 7. It was a Monday. And it was a Monday's episode. Okay, let's start with Elizabeth. Okay, so we see Laura is talking to Elizabeth and she's just going over how everything has been there, and Finn shows up. So when Finn shows up, listen, Elizabeth, I'm not gonna hold you long on this. Elizabeth doesn't want him there because she says he makes everything feels like it's normal when it's not, and she needs to find out what is wrong with her. So she pretty much asks him to leave. It's not out of malice or anything like that. She just wants to get to the bottom of it, and for some reason he triggers things for her and everything, and she just wants to find out what's going on with her. So Finn tells her, I'm going to leave, but I'm going to um be back because I'm gonna wait on you. He cares about her, so he's gonna wait on her so that they can be together. So Laura talks to him in the hallway, and she just tells him, you just got to give her time to figure this all out. This is all new for Elizabeth. It's scary for Elizabeth. And she just got to she has to figure it all out. So then we see that Finn goes to the hospital with Terry, and she asks him how Elizabeth's doing, and he says, well, I can't really give you an update because she didn't want me there. And he said, did Elizabeth say anything else was bothering her? She was like, no, besides, losing Franco and then starting with you or whatever. Nothing's going on with Elizabeth. And he says, have we talked to her parents? And Terry says, no. And he says, she was like, do you think we need to reach out to him? He said, maybe it's time. So I think this is going to have to have something to do with her parents. So then we go back to Laura and Elizabeth, and she says, well, Elizabeth, if the sleep aid made you do this, you've been on that for a year. So there was no incidents, earlier than that. It just started happening. So have you talked to your therapist about what could be going on? And Elizabeth says, I have to go. And so there's something more going on. At this point, honestly, I hate to say I don't care for this storyline, but I honestly don't care for this storyline. It's been going on too long. Every time you think it's going somewhere so that they can go and try to build Elizabeth and have her, be happy, it's always something else. And I can't with this storyline anymore. I just honestly cannot. So moving right along, we see that oh, Terry also talked to TJ and everything, and he told her about family. He was back early because of family and everything like that. And she told him to take his time, enjoy, his vacation. So then we move on. Speaking of TJ, we look at Marshall, Curtis, Stella, and Portia. And I'm not gonna hold you along on this. They go in. They're Portia, of course, is happy they're back. Okay, so listen. Well, I might hold you an extra minute on this. Okay, so listen. Portia is happy they're back, and she tells Curtis, you know, do you want to know more information about Marshall, or because he has a pill bottle? And he says, no, I've invaded enough of his privacy. Now I have him back. I'm just gonna let him open up to me. Good. So then Portia has to leave, but Stella calms down because she's helped Curtis get changed and get comfortable. And so she talks to Curtis, right? And she tells Curtis about, you know, they talk about Marshall, and then they get on the subject of Portia. And she says, when are you gonna? She's because Portia's been good to them, so she's like, when are you gonna make her, propose to Portia, take your commitment relationship to the next level? And he says, uh, we're still like we've only been dating like a year or something. And I say, well, wait a minute, Curtis, and then if Stella was me, well, I mean, what you mean you can't get engaged to this woman after a year? You like her enough to move in with her? And he said it's an investment. I said, excuse me, Curtis, what you trying to say? Because I didn't like that. I did not like that at all. What are you trying to say? You could move in with Portia, you could live with Portia, you could be laying up with Portia, but when it comes to actually being in a committed relationship with her and making her your wife, it's a problem. I was on Stella. I don't understand what you mean by that. And and you saying it's an investment, that didn't help your little case. But anyways, he just says, after what happened with Jordan and divorce and everything, he just wants to take his time. And I was like, oh, say that. Say that then. But I mean, you still, even if you want to take your time, you could have just stayed at your place and she could stay at hers. But let's move on. And so when he talks about Jordan and divorce, Aunt Stella got a dazed look on her face. Yes, Aunt Stella, remember that you took their divorce papers, so these two are not divorced or whatever. And so Aunt Stella, he was like, Aunt Stella, are you all right? She was like, yeah, yeah, I guess the flight is catching up with me or whatever. But anyway, so they get to talking. I said, now there's a lot of secrets going on with Curtis. Like you're grilling Marshall, but you should have been asking grilling Aunt Stella and Portia because they're keeping secrets from you, sir. So then we start talking about Marshall. He comes down and he tells Curtis, I'm going to start telling you what happened to me. So he starts telling them that he after the war, he came home and he got into all these protests and everything, and he became paranoid. And they said, "Okay, you became paranoid, but what does that? You know, you were in protest." He said, "But you know, the government do something. They tap. We know they do some stuff, and especially to activists and people who are protesters and all those stuff that stand up to the government." He was like, "It's not that far fetched for you to believe that they were doing that." He said, "No, but they put me on a 72-hour watch." At his last protest, he said he wasn't really resisting. So they put him on a 72-hour watch. They took him to a psych ward. And when they did that, they learned that he had schizophrenia, and that's how they go off with them. So moving right along, we go to um Valentine. So Valentine comes over to Ned and Olivia are at the horse stables, and Valentine comes over and he has a gift for Leo and everything. And then he talks to Ned. And is it me or did Valentine say 50-50, Ned? We can go 50-50 on this CEO position, but I'm not going to give you CEO, but we can go 50-50 because he said half power is no, he didn't say CEO, but Ned said, I'm not being COO. And then Valentine said, well, what do you want? He said, I want to be CEO. And Valentine said, oh, no, you can't be that. But he said, I'll go 50-50 because half power is better than none. Half is better than none. So I said, is he offering Ned to be co-CEOs? Because I could see Ned saying yes to that. I really could. I could see him saying yes to that. It's better than what Michael and them are offering him. But anyways, he tells Valentine, I'm always ELQ, ELQ to my blood or whatever. I don't know about this. And Valentine said, well, they laying you out to pasture. This is your best offer. And so Valentine leaves, and Olivia talks to Valentine, and he tells Olivia when Valentine leaves, he tells her, so you and Valentina getting along. She said, yeah, but I was sleep with one eye open with him because he's always up to something. And she just tells Ned, I don't know what's going on with EOQ or what Valentine is doing, but just talk to Michael and Drew. Just don't make a decision you're going to regret. And Ned agrees with her, but his mind is spaced out because he's been talking to Michael and Drew. I mean, that's just what it is. He's been talking to them, and it's nothing. It's not getting him anywhere. So then we see because y'all know they're gonna use this until the wheels fall off. So then we see them at the poolside, Michael, Drew, Carly, and Willow. And it's Drew and Carly there, and they're just talking about everything as far as Nina. And he's like, oh, it's a good thing. So I thought Drew kind of knew Carly was lying, but he don't get it. She said it's a good thing Nina isn't Willow's biological mother. Now y'all don't have to anything to worry about. She won't be in your lives or whatever. And Carly was like, yeah. So then Michael and Willow come over, and Carly goes to talk to Willow. Michael talks to Drew. And Michael says, and I don't see, Michael is disrespectful. And I know people like Michael or whatever, but he's a jerk. And he just says that, Ned needs to just take whatever we give him and be happy because he wants to see COO. And Drew was like, you can't treat Ned like that. It was like, you can't have this like dismissive attitude towards Ned. Like, we need him. He has to vote with us or whatever. And he said, and you can't do him like you're trying to do Sonny. And so then they start talking about Sonny, and Michael says, he's not dead to me yet. I want him crushed. And then he can go somewhere and worry about and do the dying or whatever. And I'm like, I'm so sick of this storyline. Like, I already didn't like Michael. Y'all are just making me like him. The way y'all feel about Nina is how I feel about Michael. Like when he's on here, if I was not doing reviews of this, I would fast forward every one of his scenes. I don't care who was in them. To be quite honest, even if Sonny was in them, I'd still fast forward because that's how much I just do not like Michael. But anyways, he says that, he's gonna crush Sonny and he's already got something in the works. Now this got my curiosity because I said, oh, that's the Dex. Because remember, Brando and Dante already gonna know that, something's up with Dex and they think he's an op for another, company. But I think it's just Michael sent him in because they pretty much have gone away with this whole California storyline with Jennifer Smith. I said, oh, we're not doing that anymore. Okay. So anyways, Drew is just like, well, as long as you don't use ELQ to try to like go after Sonny like that, I'm cool with it or whatever. He says, but why can't you just leave it alone? And it is just getting to the point where you got what you wanted. Nina's not in his life. You don't have to have Sonny in your. Just leave it alone. But Michael will not do that. He says he wants to crush him, and Drew is like, you sound just like Sonny, and he's like, don't tell me that, don't say it. And he's like, well, I might not say the name, but you sound just like him. And that's when Drew was like, I can almost hear you say he's dead to me. And that's when Michael was like, he's not dead to me until I want to crush him, and then he can go somewhere and think about dying. And I was like, oh, he's such a jerk. Like, please stop. But whatever. I mean, I don't like him anyways. It don't matter to me. So then that's when they start talking about, well, you need to do something with. They were like, we really need to talk to Ned, and we're not gonna just go through Ned the way you're doing Sonny, because Ned actually has a little bit, as far as business wise and what's taking care of us, Ned is a huge factor in this. And so then that's when Valentine comes up and he says, hi guys. And they say, you're looking very chipper or whatever. And Valentine says, for somebody who's going to lose, and he says, I might lose the round, but I'm going to win the match. And they said, yeah, they're like, yeah, right, or whatever. And, Ned, Valentine is just like, yeah, don't count me out. And they were like, okay, but good luck to you or whatever. May the best man win and all that stuff. It is what it is. They weren't saying too much, but Valentine is just letting them know you should be worried. Don't just assume I'm gonna be ousted at ELQ. But they are concerned because they don't have the backing of Aurora and getting investors like they think they were. So then, Lord, they leave Valentine alone. They walk away from Valentine because, they don't want to hear it. So they go over, and Michael tells Drew, I'm a little concerned about Valentine. This is something that, this stuff stressed me out. He said, we came to the pool to relax. And this, talking to Valentine and not being 100% sure what's going to happen with this merger, and he might have something up his sleeve, which is exactly what he wants us to think, has stressed me out. And Willow said, yes, talking about Nina, because Nina and Carly were talking. I mean, Nina and Willow were talking about, Carly and Willow were talking about Nina and how Willow doesn't want to look for her birth parents because she says, Nina put her needs over Wiley's. And what if my birth parents did that because they left me at a commune? All right, girl, whatever. I don't care. Like at this point, I don't care. We all know what's probably going to happen is Willow's going to get sick and Carly's going to have to reveal that Nina is the mother. So, anyways, Willow says, I'm stressed out too now because of this. And because she's so stressed out, they say, well, we could have just done better just watching Wiley's swim lesson and everything. And they say, you want to go and watch it or whatever? And they like, yeah, let's just go and do that. Yes, let's just go and do that, and everything. So that's what they decide to do. And so once they decide to go and do that, that gives Drew and Carly a opportunity to talk. And he's telling Carly, everything, because she heard them talk about the merger and it's not going as smoothly. And she said, well, let me buy in on the shares to get other investors interested or whatever. Let me help you. And so that was, and then again they said, about, because Drew heard, how Willow was talking, and he was like, well, dang, it's a good thing that Nina isn't Willow's mom because she has disdain for her and everything. And at the end of the day, Carly's not talking. She's not saying it to Willow. She's just telling Willow, it's a good thing that you don't want to be in a relationship, I think it's for the best. And they're thanking Carly for being a good friend. And Carly says, I'm not a great friend. You're not, ma'am. You keep secrets. She keeps secrets from her fans because she thinks she's doing what's better from them. And I like Carly. I do. I'm not on Team Nina. I'm not on Team Carly. But right is wrong is wrong. If you're gonna blame Nina for keeping stuff, then you got to say the same thing for Carly. It's the same difference. She's keeping this secret from people that she claims she loves because she thinks it's the right thing. She thinks it's the right thing for them. So, let's move on. She wants to invest in Aurora, and she probably is going to end up doing it to help them out or whatever. But I don't think it's going to work because y'all don't have the backing of Ned. Y'all think y'all got Ned, but you don't. And Olivia told him to talk to y'all, but I don't think it's going to work because Michael is so dismissive of anyone. So I don't think it's going to work. But that was General Hospital, y'all. It was a Monday. It was a 7. Honestly, it was probably 6.5 because I really wasn't interested in like some of the people on today. But it pushed the story forward, and I'm all for that. So I'm gonna give it a 7. I hope I didn't miss anyone. If I did, charge it to my head. Just forgetting. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow for a new episode. Bye.